Hello everybody, and today we're going to be taking a look at the ATI Radeon X300 SE Hypermemory, a budget-friendly graphics card that was once popular among entry-level gamers and casual users. I've had this card for about a year now, but I haven't made a video on it since I thought it was broken. But it turns out the DVI output I was using just doesn't work, but the VGA does. Either way, the card was more or less functional, but getting it to work was a bit of a process. To start, I didn't actually know what it was. Now, you've read the title and it's clearly the X300, but I didn't know that, and neither did GPU-Z. It reported the card as having the RV370 GPU, but also reported that it only had 75 million transistors, meaning that it's more closely aligned with the RV380. But cards with that processor looked nothing like mine, didn't have matching clock speeds, and weren't listed by the lookup function. So I did a little more digging and eventually found this exact card, which turned out to be the X300 SE with hypermemory. What threw me off was the incorrect specification reporting, but apparently this was a known issue. But at least it got the noise level right. Like, that's a hard one to figure out. Now, this card released in 2004 as part of ATI Radeon's X300 series. It was a budget-friendly graphics card that went for about $60 and was good for users looking to upgrade from integrated graphics or start gaming on a tight budget. The card featured a 325 MHz core clock and had either 64 or 128 megabytes of DDR memory with an effective clock speed of 400 MHz. The RV370 GPU it uses had 170 million transistors built on the 110 nanometer process, and it was actually one of the last GPUs to use this manufacturing process before transitioning to 90 nanometers. Aside from that, the core config consisted of 4 pixel shaders, 2 vertex shaders, 4 texture mapping units, 4 render output units, and a 64-bit bus width. But the card brought a few interesting features to the table, the most prolific being support for hypermemory. This technology was similar to NVIDIA's Turbo Cache and enables the GPU to access additional memory from the system RAM, effectively increasing the amount of available video memory. This was particularly useful to cards without a lot of VRAM and allowed them to run games and applications which would typically require more. The card also supported DirectX 9, Shader Model 2.0, and OpenGL 2.0, providing compatibility with a wide range of games and applications available at the time. Now, since it was an entry-level graphics card, it wasn't designed to run the latest and most demanding games at the highest settings, but for its intended audience, it did a decent job. You can see here its performance in Halo and Far Cry, where it was neck and neck against the GeForce 6200. However, it's worth noting that the performance would vary depending on the amount of system RAM accessible by the hypermemory feature. But gaming wasn't its only selling point. Most models featured a VGA, DVI, and an S-video output, allowing users to connect multiple displays simultaneously. It also supported ATI's HydroVision technology, a multi-monitor management software that was often used in professional environments. Cooling was also an important aspect to keep in mind, and some models did ship with an active cooler, but ours uses a passive cooler and has a TDP of only 30 watts. Now, the first challenge I came across was finding the right drivers. The card is 19 years old, and even figuring out the correct operating system to use became an issue. But you know it's not a challenge? Using the KeysFan website to buy cheap keys for modern operating systems and softwares. January 31st was the last day the Windows 10 Pro and Home download were offered for sale by Microsoft. But for those who don't want to use Windows 11, Windows 10 license keys are still available from third parties before the operating system is no longer supported. Luckily, KeysFan, the sponsor of this video, is currently running a sale on their website. Using promo code GT50 in your cart saves you 50% off a Windows 10 or 11 activation key. They also have a sale on Microsoft Office keys, and using code GT62 can get you 62% off. They're currently running a big sale, and there's a lot of different softwares and options to choose from. So check it out. You're bound to find something you like. I provided some links in the description that'll take you directly to the website, and once again, I'd like to thank KeysFan for sponsoring this video. Now, I came across some websites that claimed the X300 SE was supported all the way up to Windows 10, but that was ridiculous. The card came out in 2006 and is 17 years old, so even if it did work, we're likely going to run into compatibility issues. To prevent this, I opted to run Windows Vista. I know, kind of ironic. I'm running Vista to minimize instability, but according to the Windows Update catalog, Vista did have full support for this card. So against my better judgment, I booted up Rufus and threw on a 64-bit Vista ISO onto a thumb drive. And I know Vista is notoriously bad, but I figured I might as well try it out. How bad can it be? Installing Vista went smoothly and quickly, and actually did not crash a single time. Okay, I lied, but it was a lot better than I expected. And I tried using an older version of Google Chrome to circumvent that it's not supported on Vista, but I couldn't fix this clock out of date error. Like, who cares what time it is? Just let me download drivers. So I settled for Internet Explorer with freaking Bing, which loaded perfectly, by the way. Then YouTube yelled at me, so I ended up using Firefox. And long story short, with drivers installed, YouTube actually ran very well. There was a little bit of frame distortion, which I've not really had on other cards before, but the frame rate was high enough for it to be enjoyable. Next, I installed MSI Afterburner, which aside from lots of screen tearing, went pretty well. It wouldn't let me overclock the card, so I tried using the AMD GPU clock tool, but that didn't work either. So we're gonna be running it as stock. Now, this is where the video got completely derailed. See, the video is titled, "Can you run Doom on a GPU from 2006?" because nothing else worked. I guess Windows Vista kind of sucks, actually. Oh my... We have half a half-life, it's half off the monitor. Believe me, I tried all sorts of different drivers and software configurations, but it would crash in every other title. I mean, technically it did play a Half-Life in 1152 by 864, but the game ran like shit. It did run better with the software renderer, but that's done by the CPU and not the GPU, so it doesn't really count. The X300 SE hypermemory is officially supported on Vista, and the drivers were installed, so I guess my card was just kind of broken. Also, look at this cool Windows Vista screensaver. I like it. They need to bring back this revolutionary technology. So, kind of a disappointment, but I still wanted to talk about this card because I paid money for it and it's kind of interesting. Here's some more benchmarks I found online, but without the actual gameplay footage, it's kind of hard to get a sense of scale for the performance. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider leaving a like or subscribing because it genuinely helps me out. If you want to join the community, there's a link to the official Jane Dyke Discord server in the description, alongside a few donation methods that directly support the channel. If you have any questions or related comments, then leave them below and I'll be sure to respond to it. That's about it. Have a great day. Bye.